Welcome to Let Me Finish. I have zero idea what episode I'm on, but it'll say it on the thing. I'm your host, Figure 8, where we chronicleize the history of the antelope fishermen. Today's guest is one of the founding fathers of the fish. We got Blossom. I'm just kidding. It's Andrew,
geez.
everybody.
Hey, how's it going, man?
I don't have... rock geese.
Is that what?
Do you remember?
Yeah, I vaguely remember.
Do you remember how you got your producer name?
I may or may not have thrown a rock at a goose.
What happened to the goose?
I don't want to talk about it.
Andrew had to sacrifice a goose to get his producer name. A couple weeks ago, we had Tag on, and I think you, Tag, and Ned have to have the most perspective on this first season. But I was trying to do the math earlier. Do you know when you left for college?
Shoot. I think it was... I want to say it was, like, September of 2018, probably.
2018. Okay, so that is, like... The end of this season is December of 2018, so you were there for the entire first period, pretty much.
Yeah.
Do you remember coming to any shows? I can picture you, me, Nick at a Swiggle show.
Yeah, like, I feel like I was there the first time, like, any of us saw Swiggle. Like, it was just some, like, I don't know, it almost like I remember there was a kitchen in the background, or in the back, like, room.
Okay, it was in the place with the kitchen, okay.
Yeah, like...
They called it the La Familia Lounge at the time.
Yeah, and, like, Tag and I were, like, I think you maybe said, like, 4 or 5 words to Swiggle, because we kept being like, bro, go talk to him. And...
Yeah.
You were...
And now that I know Swiggle and how he acts during shows, it's pretty obvious why we didn't
get
to talk to him.
And you went up to him and were there for a couple seconds and then came back and you're like, okay, let's go. So.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of forgot Tag was there, but that it's funny, you can see us in OZ, rest in peace OZ. His first music video they filmed at that show. So in some of the crowd shots, you can see us just standing.
I feel like you've sent me pictures of us, the 3 of us, or however many were there, just awkwardly standing there as
just
this
there.
thing's going on.
Did you go to high school with Tag?
No, he went to Reynolds and I went to Gresham, but we I think just kind of met through like activities and shit we did.
Sure. We learned, I don't know if you heard on the episode, but we learned recently that Tyree went to school with Tag, Ned, and Chris.
Yeah, I heard that. That's crazy.
It's so strange. Yeah. Do you remember the house party in Troutdale where I was spinning vinyls and you just walked up to me and were like, "Oh, this album's great." And then I was like, "Thanks, man." And I like flipped it over and turned around and I like saw you shimmying into the shadows of the party again to get the fuck away.
Yeah, I mean, I vaguely remember it. I feel like that was probably the first time I'd met you, and like me being shy and awkward, I was like, well, hey, this guy's got dreadlocks for some reason, and
that's never come up on the podcast. Thanks for dropping the bomb.
And also seems to be into hip hop, so I was like, let me go say something to him, and that's probably all I could work out at the time, and then just ran back to Tag.
He can't be cooler than me.
There's no way.
So you technically joined before Tag, because Tag had asked me if he could be involved at some point because you were involved. And I knew that, but like going over this story now, it kind of surprises me that Tag was like a later adopter of the original founding fathers. Do you have any memory of the inception?
I just remember it was when you were living in Lisa's garage, and like we were all just like hanging out and playing video games or listening to music or whatever, and like helping you record. And I think you just kind of like. It probably just sort of happened organically of like where I was like, hey, it might be cool to make beats and stuff, and you were like, hey, do you want to make beats for me? And then downloaded Fruity Loops or whatever it's called, and
Audacity.
Yeah, and like tried to do whatever I could, but yeah, I think that's kind of just how I feel like it wasn't like this like, oh, let's do this. It was just sort of happened.
Yeah, and like the Antelope Fisherman itself was kind of like a gag thing that me, Gareth, and Ned's ex-girlfriend kind of had running. I don't think it was like it. We started a real thing simultaneously as like an inside joke occurred, and they eventually overlapped.
Yeah, it just like
is what it feels like.
It feel even like I've been listening to every episode you've put out and stuff. Like it feels like everything just sort of happened. There wasn't any like real plan behind it or anything like that.
There was no just, announcement. It was like, knowing who we are now. It's so strange. There was no point of like, let's announce this. Let's tell people. Let's.
Yeah, well, it like that's what I'm saying. Like it just things just happened. Like it was just like, all right, well, Fig wants to be a rapper, and like the rest of us would like to do something with music and or think this is cool, blah blah blah, and then we just kind of stumbled into shit, I feel like.
Now I'm going to embarrass you a little bit. Do you remember the brief moment when you tried to be a rapper in the group instead of just a producer?
Yeah. Let's skip to the next topic on that one though.
What? I don't remember the name of the song we recorded, but I know it had to do with basketball, and I was trying to think of it the other day and couldn't process a single bar, anything from it.
Yeah, I have. I remember because at my old job, it was like I was just driving around in cars all day listening to music, and so like I would write down things and stuff, but yeah, that didn't go well.
So when people, occasionally your name will be on like the one of the lists that we have of like the founders or the full group members or our website or whatever the hell. And if someone asks me what you do, I generally just say you're like a marketing consultant now.
Yeah, I mean,
which is the most you've been involved. Like most of your time as a fish, you've assisted us in that kind of clerical stuff. But I still feel like I mostly remember you as like a producer, as your contributions. Can you name any of the songs you produced? Do you remember?
Oh man, I don't remember what the name of it was. But like, what was your like mixtape or album where like the artwork is like you're like a skeleton or whatever?
Love Addict.
Okay, yeah.
That was like my first.
I feel like
in the scene.
Yeah, and then there's a song. I think it was maybe Evidence. Is that the name of it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because we made that very, very early on.
Yeah,
and then the fact that it made it to that mixtape that it was on, that was so far away from that time, is crazy to me. Like,
because it was a rapper that you like was like a mentor, I guess. To
Joey
you.
J.
Yeah, back in Detroit,
yep.
right? Yeah.
Yep, back in Port Huron, he took me to a couple of studios, and then we did that song out here. And then I tried to hit him up when we were dropping it, and he stopped responding. And I thought he hated it. And do you remember when his mom hit us up to let us know he was doing like 15 years? So that's like, it wasn't him ignoring us. He knew the song came out. He was very happy. Like that was a cool moment.
Yeah.
Early on.
I remember all that.
Do you know how far that song has gone?
No idea. I mean,
it's on Spotify currently as number like 15 when we did 365.
Hey, that's something I can pat my back for, I guess.
Yeah, like not only did it make it to that mixtape, but when we were hungry to release that song a day every day and we had to pull from the backlog, it came out and it never got deleted. I looked at it the other day and was like, man, this thing's still out. This is such early work.
That's crazy, especially because I feel like you've done your best to clear some of the early work from the internets. So
only recently, like I just made channel private once we started the Patreon. I think I didn't make a single video private on the Antelope Fisherman thing until maybe 2 weeks ago. Token on a podcast started pulling up old YouTube videos, and I was like, oh shit.
Oh no, I need to hide this.
Yeah, so those are on the Patreon.
Yeah, I remember seeing the channel one and just being like, boy, I'm glad I'm not in this.
That's funny. That's in the podcast episode where we watch channel. You text me that.
Really?
And like we have a discussion.
That's funny.
I've been doing this thing with the guests we have on here, and I'm just gonna name a couple of random early songs, and you can tell me if you remember them and anything you remember about them.
All right.
May Contain Nuts.
I mean, just by the title, I feel like that's probably like one of the first ones with Cool Nuts or something. But
Nope.
but I don't know.
That
No.
was a tag beat in Lisa's in Lisa's
Lisa's
closet in her garage.
With our little makeshift studio.
Do you remember Goodwill Hunting?
Nah. Well, wait, maybe that might be on the, and I can't even think of the name right now. But the like strange.
I think it was Strange Places.
Yeah. There we go.
Yep. Oh man, Strange Places. That was we talked about that quite a bit on the podcast, but that was the first thing that got released that had the words "The Antelope Fisherman" attached to it.
Yeah, I remember you saying that by listening to the pod.
We also had, I think my first thing I released after I met Swiggle was the man, like the Drugs and Stuff EP.
I remember us coming up with that name and stuff in just different conversations we'd had and stuff.
Well, just looking through recently, I found an EP prior to that mixtape called Drugs and Stuff that was me over you and Tag Beats like, I can't find any of the songs on it, but I found a picture that I had posted on an old Twitter, and it was like a yellow background with a dictionary image of an antelope with like a dictionary definition underneath it, and it said Drugs and Stuff. So I have no idea what songs were on it, but we had already either released it or had that idea a couple of years prior to me actually putting it out, and I thought that was crazy that had been like completely wiped from my memory. Like, I saw the picture and it inserted that we did in fact do that, but I have zero recollection of what the hell we were doing there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like so much of it is just us stumbling into things by hanging out every night after we got off work and just, you know, shooting the shit and whatnot. I feel like nothing, like I said earlier, nothing was planned. I feel like things just happened.
It just happened.
Yeah.
Since you kind of have the least perspective on the live part of the Antelope Fisherman, I would say, I was going to ask you, do you remember like which shows you were at? Were you at the Fig and Swig release party?
No. I feel like the first one that like I went to after it was like the Fish was like an established thing and all that, was your release party for Love Addict, because I remember not telling you I was coming up. I was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go. And so like I
was that at the weed place?
Yeah, that like I don't know what to call it other than like a weed bar, but like I think that's
it was a cannabis club.
Yeah, there we go. But I think that's the first one that I was like, you know, after the Fish was like a real thing that I showed up to.
Yeah, were you at the first show that me and Tag threw? I think it was in like August.
In August?
It was at the TARDIS room. Did you ever go to the TARDIS room, the fish and chips place?
I think wasn't that where like the first time you really performed, like after meeting Swig and stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay, I think...
Yes, I had that booked.
I want to say, like, your like, first real live performance I also went to. I think I had already gone down to Eugene for school and stuff at that point, but I think I did come up for that one. I remember being at one at the Fish and Chips place. I just don't remember exactly when or, like, what the...
Yeah, we did so much there early on. That place sucked. I saw Shrista had a memory come up that was like, if I die, don't have my memorial at the TARDIS room. And I was like, fuck.
Anywhere but there.
It was relatable. Yeah, anywhere but there. We're getting pretty close to this outro music starting to play. So last thing I was going to ask, can you remember the first song that you worked on? Is that a thing that's in your head?
Oh, man, no. I mean, I feel like it was just like, you know, anytime I had time, I would like make a beat or whatever, and I feel like I would just name it something super random and save the file and send it to you, and then so like
and then hear whatever bullshit I did over it.
Yeah, like it I don't remember specifically. No, I feel like Evidence is probably the first kind of, you know, real song that I remember. So
well, I appreciate you coming on. This is episode, I think it's 16. I'd like to have you back before this season's done in an episode with Ned and Tag as well. So
yeah, for sure. Let's do that.
Reminisce as as a group.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And this outro music is about to start playing, so I have to say that we will be back. And before anyone interrupts, let me finish.